What's crack-a-lackin' thugs and truckers? I'm Josh Moody. We have no John Batanti because he is in Nepal. Yeah. John's gone for the rest of the month. Might be able to fill in at some point, but he cannot seem to find Wi-Fi at appropriate hours in appropriate locations. He's in some sort of temple or something like that. Can't even bring his phone today. Scrub-a-dub-dubbing it. Hopefully he climbs a mountain or some shit. Yo, apparently Nepalese babies grant wishes. Get that shit. All right, so we got a good card coming up. We actually have more fights on here that I'm interested in than you would normally kind of expect. Last week's card was pretty good too. Last week's card had all finishes. 1 second, I'm going back to last week's card. Brian Battle looked really, really good. If you guys haven't been paying attention to him, pay attention to Brian Battle. I think he's going places. Terrence McKinney damn near tore a dude's head off. Sergey Spivak got a finish in round 2 as well. My girl Juliana Miller won by ground and pound round 3, and Jeff Neal looked like a bad motherfucker. I'm excited to see what Jamal Hill's going to do as well. But like there was a bunch of good fights last week. So if you haven't seen any of the fights from last week, go find an unnamed location where you may be able to see fights after they have happened, and check those fights out because there's a lot of good talent that was on display, and a lot of good technique to be studied. This week's card is Dominic Cruz versus Marlon Chito Vera. Your first fight of the night is Yusuf Zalal versus Damon Blackshear. First of all, how dope is that name? Damon Blackshear. His name is Da Monster. That's just a dope name. A dope name with an adequate moniker. Yusuf Zalal looked really good in his first couple of UFC fights and then kind of fell off, right? Like, I'm not saying he's going to stay off, but hasn't looked good as of late. And Damon Blackshear actually has a lot of really, really good fights in the regional scene. His losses are all to like quality talent. Well, 3 of his losses are to guys that are in the big show now. And the 4th guy, I forget who he was, but I'm pretty sure he got someplace close. I think he was in UFC too, something like that. He's in Bellator. And then he has some wins over guys with solid records. I am picking Damon Blackshear, mostly because Yusuf Zalal doesn't look like he's had it all together as of late. Like I said, he looked really, really good when he got to the UFC. His fight against, Ilia Topuria was the first one that I saw him in, and that was a really, really close fight. But he beat Jordan Griffin. It was a friend of mine from Milwaukee. A couple other guys. But I don't know. Whatever happened in the last 2 years, his ability to compete seems to have decreased a little bit. Hopefully he gets it back for him. But I don't see Yusuf Zalal winning the fight this week. However, John does. But, what does John know? He's only beating me by 1 pick. John clearly knows nothing. All right, your next fight of the night is Jason Witt versus Josh Quinlan. I don't know who Josh Quinlan is. Jason Witt comes out of the guys in Lee's Summit. Why am I drawing a blank on who that guy's name is? Glory MMA and Fitness? Yeah, James Krause's school. Glory MMA and Fitness. He's a takedown machine. Like, his stats are ridiculous, the amount of takedowns he attempts. He's good for almost 7 takedowns per fight. There's a lot of really quality grapplers that get 2. Now, if you're getting 7 takedowns per fight, that probably means your control time isn't great. But across 5 fights, he got 4 takedowns in his last fight. He got 8 takedowns against Brian Barberena, none against Semi the Jedi. 2 against Cole Williams, and then none against Takashi Sato, but that was over in 48 seconds. Oh, yeah, the 2 fights he didn't get takedowns in, he got knocked out in under a minute. Takedowns are his path to victory. And due to 5 fights, I don't expect him to be able to keep up with a guy who's kind of battle tested like this. But you never know. I got Josh. I have Jason Witt. John also has Jason Witt for this card. Your next fight of the night, O'Day Osborne versus Tyson Nam. We're not making picks on this one because I've known O'Day for like damn near 15 years at this point. But it should be a good fight. O'Day's looked really, really good as of late. Since getting to the UFC, he's 3-2 in the UFC, with some good fights in there, regardless of what happened. Tyson Nam's been in the UFC for about 2 years, I think, and has gone. Oh, he's been here for 3 years, and he's currently 3-2. Do what you will with this fight. It should be a good fight. I'm excited to watch it, but I don't bet on friends. Gabriel Mowgli Benitez versus Charlie Ontiveros. I'm happy that Ontiveros has gone down to 155. I think that the fight against Kevin Holland was short notice, so that's likely why he fought up a weight class. He fought at welterweight for that one, right? No, he fought at middleweight. That was up 2 weight classes. He waited at 182 for a middleweight fight? That was stupid. I mean, he got into the UFC with it. It's not that kind of stupid, but Charlie Ontiveros has not done well since coming to the UFC. Let's see, where is it? Ontiveros. Yeah, he's only landed 9 strikes since he's been in the UFC. He had 2 fights and he's landed 9 strikes total. 0 takedowns, and he's gotten finished both times. Hopefully for him, he can turn, I've never seen numbers like this. Strikes landed per minute, 0.7. Strikes absorbed per minute, 4.6. That's absurd. Strike defense, 26%. That's crazy low. I haven't seen him outside of the UFC, so maybe this isn't what he really is. He actually has some decent competition along the way. Fought Jeff Neal when they were both 5-2 and 4-1. Fought Michael Venom Page. Lost to both of those guys. But yeah, the dude doesn't look like he's ready. So I am picking Mowgli. Mowgli is battle tested. He's been around for a minute. They have similar quality records, but the quality of opposition, they have similar records on paper, right, as far as their win-to-loss ratio, but the quality of opposition that Mowgli has fought is completely different. Mowgli's been in the UFC since 2014. His wins and losses are very, very different. So I've got Mowgli. John also has Mowgli. Your next fight, Nina Nunes versus Cynthia Calvillo. I think she says it Calvillo. Anyways, Cynthia came into the UFC as a grappler and then seems to have forgotten that. She is currently on a 3-fight losing streak. Andrea Lee, Jessica Andrade. Her corner stoppage in round 2. I forgot about that. Caitlin Chikagian. I mean, overall, she's done pretty well in the UFC. Like, she's got more wins than losses, but there was a lot of hype on her name when she got there, and it hasn't really panned out. Nina Nunes does really, really well against girls that don't take her down, and she has some pretty good takedown defense. So we got the girl who should be taking people down, but just kind of doesn't anymore. Yeah, 1.75. Yeah. Anyways, both John and I have Nina Nunes winning this fight. Your next fight of the night, Lucas Bursky versus Martin Buday. So Lucas Bursky actually looks pretty good. I went and watched a regional fight. I watched his Contender Series fight. He's super, super active, which is interesting, and he doesn't get hit especially much. His strikes landed to strikes to board ratio, he's got a plus 2.5 differential. So does Martin Buday. The thing that worries me about Lucas Bursky is I don't think he's really a heavyweight. Like, he's 6'4", and he's got fights where he's weighed as high as 247, and then he's also got fights where he's weighed as low as 235. And at 235, he's in pretty good shape, but I think this guy's a light heavyweight. Most of his photos, he's in like good shape, but not great shape. And then there's one photo out there where he's like shredded with abs. And I think if that guy could maintain being that guy and then learn to cut down to 205, I think he'd be much more interesting. But as a heavyweight, like, he gasses. He's super active for less than a round, and then he gasses. The shots that he puts out there, there's a lot of them. None of them are really designed to kill. And if you're not looking to finish people, you can't be like spastic like that, right? I mean, he does have a lot of finishes, but I think he's just overwhelmed people on the regional scene. Martin Buday cuts to make heavyweight, and has a style that sucks the life out of you. So I think that as long as Martin Buday doesn't get finished in the first 2.5 minutes, there shouldn't be any reason that he doesn't win this fight going the stretch. That being said, I think that Lucas Bursky has a lot of upside. I'm interested to see what he does in the UFC. I just don't think that this is the fight or the weight class for him to do that in. When we saw, who fought Blades? Razor Blades. Curtis Blades fought the dude out of Philly that I'm drawing a blank on. His brother fights in the UFC as well. His brother's the Darce Knight. Chris. It'll come to me. Anyways, Blades is like second to last fight. He knocked the guy out on the feet, right? And they asked what was going on, and he said, I don't think he's a heavyweight. Like, just because you're 235 pounds, just because you're 240 pounds doesn't make you a heavyweight. There's a certain level of durability required. There's a certain level of power required. There's kind of like a certain bone density. And I'm saying this as someone who fought the majority of my own fights were at heavyweight. But I was a giant tub of goo, and then I ran into like a real heavyweight, and it wasn't the same thing. So I think that if Lucas Bursky either puts on some weight and changes his style up a little bit, maybe he's a heavyweight. But I'm interested to see what he would do down at 205. Anyways, Martin Buday. John also has Buday for this fight. Your next fight of the night is Angela Overkill Hill versus Lupita Lupi Godinez. I love Angela Hill. I'm always down to watch an Angela Hill fight. I love watching Angela Hill fight. I think that she is super fun to watch in the cage and super interesting outside of the cage. She's just an interesting lady. She trains at a really good camp. Unfortunately for her, she struggles a lot with grapplers. She's gotten significantly better at grappling, but the downfall of Angela Hill is absolutely her grappling. That's her weak link. Lupi Godinez attempts more takedowns than Khabib, and has a similar accuracy to Khabib. So I just actually, wow, Angela Hill actually has decent takedown defense rate, but when she does get taken down, things just don't go her way. This fight is not taking place at 115, so I wonder what happened there. It's a catch weight. I wonder if this is short notice or if somebody reached out, somebody had some sort of issue and wasn't going to be able to make weight. Either way, this is contracted at catch weight, so this is a 120-pound fight instead of a 115-pound fight. I am picking Lupi just because I don't think that Angela Hill is going to be able to do what she wants to do when this fight is on the ground. I will always root for Angela Hill. I hope Angela Hill comes out and smashes Lupi. It just doesn't seem super accurate. Gerald Meerschaert versus Bruno Silva. Gerald Meerschaert's been in the UFC for a minute now. Gerald Meerschaert's been fighting for like 15 years. Let's see. Gerald's first professional fight was 2007. Yeah. I think he comes from a wrestling background, even though he doesn't really utilize a lot of. Anyways, he's much better at jiu-jitsu than he is as like an offensive wrestler. He's got a lot of rematches. Bruno Silva, the only time I think I've seen him fight was that Alex Pereira fight, where he looked good. I mean, he kept up with Alex Pereira, didn't get finished, that kind of thing. He's got wins over at Wellington Turman, Andrew Sanchez, and Jordan Wright. Andrew, I think that's Dirty Sanchez. Yeah, El Dirte. Andrew the Dirty Sanchez. That's a pretty good win. Beating the Beverly Hills Ninja. I don't think that guy's actually supposed to be in the UFC. If he hasn't been cut yet, he will be. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. That guy's not going to stick around in the UFC. Bruno Silva. I don't know, man. I don't know what Gerald's going to do to Bruno Silva. No. I got those stats backwards. Yeah, I don't expect that Gerald's going to be able to take down Bruno Silva. If he does, Gerald should win. But I think that this fight likely goes to decision. And I think that Bruno Silva likely is the one to win this fight. Yeah. I'm rooting for Gerald, but both John and I are picking. Let me make sure that John's picking that guy. Where is the? Yeah, we both have Silva for this one. Okay. Ariana Lipski versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Priscilla Cachoeira has been different lately. There was a period of time where I thought that. Well, there was a period of time where she didn't look great. Yeah, her first 3 fights in the UFC. She fought Valentina, fought Meatball, and then fought Luna Carolina and lost. Like her first 3 fights in the UFC, all losses. Since then, she's 3-1. So overall, she's 3-4. She's made some changes. She looks better. But I like the Queen of Violence. I think that she's I think she's a much more skilled fighter than Priscilla Cachoeira. I always mix Priscilla Cachoeira with whoever just fought Holly Holm. Was it Holly Holm? Anyways, yeah, I don't see Priscilla Cachoeira being able to win this fight. I think that it's more likely that Lipski wins this fight. She's also not done great in the UFC. She's also 3-4 in the UFC. Damn. Anyways, yeah. Does John have Lipsky too? Yeah, we both have Lipsky for this fight. Your next fight: Devin Brown Bear Clark versus Azamat Murzakanov. All right. I think I just met this dude. I think I just trained with this dude like 2 weeks ago. 100%. I had no idea who he was. This dude's a really good wrestler. Okay. Yeah. Devin Clark's best skill set is his takedowns. I think he's like a state champion from South Dakota or whatever. He's traded wins and losses throughout his UFC career. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. Oh, the finale? Was he the finalist? No way. Wait, no. Who's the fucking finalist? This isn't even... Okay, that doesn't answer anything. Not helpful. Azamat's really good. Azamat's really, really good. He's 11-0, and he's 11-0 for a reason. I don't know the guy. He just dropped into the gym that I was at that day, and I only did a little bit of work with him. But he's a very good wrestler. Like, moves in ways you're not ready for, moves with conviction, and has quite a bit of power. He's gonna beat Brown Bear. 100% he's gonna beat Brown Bear. John doesn't know it. John seems to think that Devin Clark's got this one, but I'm here to tell you he doesn't. This is a Murzakanov fight. Bet your house on it. Your mortgage payment, sign your house over. I'm not that serious about this, but I do really, really think that Azamat Murzakanov will be the victor in this fight. The next fight after that is two girls that don't have UFC fights. They're fighting on the main card. They're the third to last fight, and they don't have UFC fights. Like, that's strange. Now, that being said, let me just go ahead and point out that Yasmin Yaraguay, fighting out of Tijuana, is the number one pound-for-pound women's fighter in Florida, number one in the U.S. Southeast, the number one in Latin America, which is everything except for Brazil, the number one in Mexico, and the number one in the United States. She's 8-0. Almost, I think they're all finishes. Yeah, her first fight, she got a KO in round 1. Second fight, KO in 13 seconds. Third fight, the doctor stopped it in between the second and third round. The fourth fight, she won by decision. Fifth fight, doctor stoppage. Sixth fight, decision. Seventh and eighth fight, both first round finishes. I haven't seen this girl fight, but this girl finishes people. And some of these girls have like decent amount of fights, right? She fought a 10-5 girl, 8-7 girl, a 5-0 girl, 6-3 girl. Like, this isn't one of those situations where she fought a bunch of shit cans, and that's the only reason she's here. She's fighting Isamen Lucindo, and Isamen looks pretty good as well. She's 13-4 at 20 years old. She is super young, super young. First fight in 2017. She's had, 17 fights in 5 years. That's quite a bit. 17 fights in 5 years is 3 fights a year, 4 fights a year, something like that. Had some losses early in her career, but that's pretty normal. Women tend, because it's harder to find female fighters, they tend to take fights that they shouldn't necessarily take. Fights outside of their weight class. Each of these fights, you can't even get more information on, which is interesting, which probably means they're at some of the less reputable promotions, not necessarily bad promotions, just not as well developed as some of the other ones that you would find. She's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight win streak. She's pretty much a finisher too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 finishes in 13 victories. At 20 years old, that's so young. 5 years ago. She's been fighting professionally since she was 15. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I got Yasmin on this one. I think that Yasmin's going to do better. I think she's probably a little bit better developed. They've been fighting for a similar amount of time. I keep an eye on Issamin Lucindo. If she's getting to the UFC at 20 and like, I bet you she goes some places. I bet you, as long as she doesn't like completely shit the bed when she gets here, I would keep an eye on her. And I think that she will likely do pretty well. All of her fights, let's see, 2019. Yeah, all of her losses are when she was under 18. Fighting professionally under 18, probably fighting 25, 30-year-old women, like women that were much more developed than she was. And she was going back and forth, winning it at that time. I'm very interested to see how that girl does as time goes on. I don't expect her to win this fight, but if she has a good performance in this fight, keep an eye on her as time goes on. Same with Yasmin. Yasmin Jauregui. That's Jauregui. Jauregui. Interesting. I'm struggling with that name. I'm usually decent at Latin names. So I have Yasmin. I think John has Yasmin too. Yeah, we both have Yasmin Jauregui winning this fight. All right, your co-main event: David Onama versus David Landwehr. I think David Onama fought like 2 weeks ago, like real recently. Garrett Arm. I guess it's been 4 weeks at this point. Yeah, he fought that guy coming at short notice. David Onama has looked really good. I'm a little surprised that he is the co-main event. I'm curious what is going on that has put him in that position. There's definitely, I guess it's not that stacked of a card, but the promotion clearly likes him. Oh, man. They also he's fighting Nate the Train Landwehr. He's a great representation of Tennessee. This is a Tennessee gangster. That dude's hilarious. This is the guy who, I think it was a Contender Series fight. Either way, he was in the Apex, marching his opposition down, screaming, "Dana! I'm here, Dana! Dana!" He's a madman. Absolutely a madman. He's hilarious. Talks like he's a gangster. It's hilarious. But I don't expect Nate the Train to be winning this fight. I think that he will. Maybe won a decision over Darren Elkins. That's actually super impressive. Lost to Juicy J, no big deal. And then beat Ludovic Klein. I think that Onama should have this. I think that this is likely. I even think this is going to be a finish by Onama. I think John has Onama as well. Yeah, both of us have Onama. I think Onama's should pull this one out. I think he'll probably make it look pretty easy too. I'm not saying it will be easy, but I think he might make it look easy. And then your main event, Marlon Chito Vera versus Dominic Cruz. I've thought a lot about this fight. Honestly, I've spent more time thinking about this one fight than I usually do any single fight. Usually I spend more time going through the whole card, looking at a lot of people that I don't know. This fight interests me a lot. Outside of the fact that it has title shot implications, right? Like Marlon Vera is ranked number 6 in the world. Dominic Cruz is ranked number 9 in the world. If Dominic Cruz can beat Marlon Vera, that would be super, super impressive. But at the same time, if Cheeto can beat Dominic, that would also be really impressive. Let's see, Cheeto's last few opponents. So the things that I found interesting here is how does Cheeto do with fighters that switch stances quite a bit? I think that the two fighters that will show you the most as far as what will Cheeto be able to do to Dominic Cruz are his fight against Sean O'Malley, which is a weird fight, right? O'Malley injuring himself doesn't paint a full picture of what that fight would have been, right? Win, lose, or draw, that's an unusual way for that fight to have gone. But he didn't seem to struggle that much with the stance switches. He did struggle with the feints. And then I think that Frankie Edgar would be the other one that you'd want to look at to see how he would do. And he was able to finish Frankie. I don't even think, did Frankie even take him down? Let me look at that real quick. Dominic Cruz, despite all of his fancy footwork and the fact that he lands a lot, his style is actually built around takedowns. It isn't a striking style. It's actually a grappling style. The purpose of it was to set up opportunities to take people down so that he wouldn't take damage from these bigger guys. Yeah, Cruz is good for 3 takedowns a fight. That's actually really good. I didn't know it was going to be that high. And then as far as Dominic Cruz, he hasn't really fought like a great Muay Thai fighter. The way to beat Cruz is going to be to take a step back as he's trying to blitz you. And then when he exits, you got to punt his leg to slow him down. The way that you beat a mover is by slowing them down, right? So whether it's boxing, Muay Thai, karate, whatever it is, if you can get this guy to stop moving, he's a sitting duck, right? So when you have guys that specialize in just being all over the place, you need to zap their gas tank with body shots. You need to impede their mobility with leg kicks, calf kicks, that kind of thing. Cheeto has good leg kicks. He has really, really good leg kicks. I said good kicks in general. I'm really struggling with who's going to win this fight. I really want Dominic Cruz to win, but honestly, man, I'm thinking Cheeto Vera probably has this. If Dominic Cruz is able to win this, I think Dominic Cruz is going to end up getting a title shot. Let's look at who is above him in the rankings. Let's see. Yeah. So Fight Matrix has Dominic at 8. And has Cheeto at 6. Cruz. So if Cruz loses, I think he's gonna fight Frankie Edgar, and I think that fight would actually make a lot of sense. I think even if he wins, fighting Frankie Edgar is not a bad idea, just given their previous track records. If Marlon wins, he's either going to fight the winner of Corey Sandhagen and Song Yadong, or he will go, or the winner of Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley. Yeah, okay. They're both kind of right outside the title picture because we've got Dillashaw coming up. Damn. I'm not normally this indecisive on these fights. Yeah, I think I gotta pick Marlon. Damn, I even wrote down Cruz. Fuck it, I'll keep Cruz. That's how close it is. Just John's picking Marlon Vera. I don't like how many fights he and I have picked the same person, so I'm picking Dominic Cruz. But I would not at all be surprised if Marlon Vera's got the answers to beating Dominic Cruz. I think that his capability as a kicker, his durability are going to be things that keep him in this fight and can slow Cruz down. All in all, this should be a really, really good fight. That's the most exciting fight of the night by far. I'm interested in the Angela Hill-Luby fight as well. I got to watch O'Day fight, but I think that this Dominic Cruz versus Marlon Vera fight, that's the fight to be watching. Yeah. So that is all. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This time and every time. Thank you for being here.